everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you guys a method on how to get a much higher score in Guild Raid using your exact same team. You guys might be surprised by the outcome. Now, full transparency, we are going to be using Isla, and this will be against Nightmare Geese. And generally, more often than not, you can do better against Nightmare Geese because his meter gets broken down by Chill and Shock. And since we have, especially Cosme, who has Chill in her kit, and it's OP as hell, it really melts that meter. It's just a lot easier to make your timing correctly, bring in your damage dealer right when that meter gets broken, right whenever Geese is stunned, to do a whole bunch of damage. That in itself makes a difference. So generally you can do more damage against Nightmare Geese and Guild Raid than you can against Rugal. However, if you do this method, even against Rugal, guys, you'll do way more damage. It is astronomical, the difference that you're gonna make. And I used to do these kinds of videos all the time back in the day, but I just don't do them much anymore because they take forever. But the method that I showed you guys in the last video with Isla will be a little bit different than what I'm going to show you in today. And I'm going to be using, again, the exact same team that I used before, guys. We're going to use these characters here. All right. Now, what I'm going to be doing that's going to be different than the video that you guys saw in the past is that I'm going to be using their 3PGs a whole lot more often. Now, this is going to be good for two reasons. One, you can actually give yourself more damage over time because every time you do a 3PG or a default, you're actually time stopping the timer in Guild Raid. And the more time stops you have, the more damage over time that you're actually going to do. This makes a huge difference. And on top of that, if you use this method and you have EX characters, say like Cosme, that's at A5, mine's at A2, but if she's at A5, guys, you can use her EX core that will give a ridiculous amount of critical damage or critical rate, depending on which one you choose. I would choose critical damage myself because these cards that we have on these characters usually have a ton of critical rate, especially the UE characters that got a bunch of critical rate just native in their kit. So I'd really opt for this if I was going to use Cosme on the team, and I will be using the EX core, but she's only A2, so I'm not going to be getting this, obviously, but I'm just going to show you guys how you could use it, how you could get that extra 50% critical damage by using Cosme. But even though I don't have that, I'm still going to gain an astronomical amount of damage because of all the extra damage over time. Now, I am going to be using Pai Chen and Shermie as strikers. We already have Chill with Cosme, and all we needed was Shock, and honestly, guys, when it comes to Shock, Pai Chen is godly because she decreases Chill target's attack speed by 10% and movement speed by 10%, which is helpful, but decreases Shock target's defense by 40% for 15 seconds. That is a long duration, and that is a huge decrease in defenses. So as long as there's Shock applied to the opponent and you're using Pai Chen as a striker, that is an astronomical extra in damage. And then on top of that, increase Starlight damage target received by 25% for 15 seconds upon use, right? Well, who's got Starlight? It is Maki. Maki has Starlight, right? We're just going to be using Shermie because she does increase active team members' attack by 12%. That is very nice. And on top of that, she does drop Lightning. These two things are really nice. You could use Lady Yashiro, however, you wouldn't have the extra attack, for Shock if you choose to do so, and that's fine. And as far as the cards, guys, right? I mean, this is a level 90 Maki. We're just going to use the Rugal set. We do have a Shermie option card. You really don't need the Shermie option card, guys. You just put 2 cooldown cards on her. It would be fine. In fact, if you don't have this set right here, you could even put the Serena set on her. That would probably get it done as well, which is this set right here that gives all that power gain whenever you're tagging in that extra 10% power. So this is really, really nice. And whenever you're playing with Maki to help you build up your power gain, start off with the second skill, go 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that'll help you build up your power gain. Every time you do that, you should be able to do your 3PG hopefully, and then hopefully do your default later down the road. You can see I'm just using a low level 3PG, and this does increase attack all allies by 30%, which is nice, but only lasts for 10 seconds. So that buff will be almost gone by the time we get to our main damage dealer. And then we have Cosme, whose buffs actually last about 12 seconds, right? Now, her EX core, if you are using this thing, I mean, it does last for 15 seconds, so that's actually really, really nice, a little extra duration, and believe me, that extra 3 seconds makes a big difference. So what I want you to pay attention to in the run, I'm going to be with you guys for a bit of this run, is, how much time do I have on my character before I tag them back in, right? And this is what I mean. So you see this card right here. This is a God tier card. Matter of fact, as you guys will see in the run I'm going to show you, I actually could probably do even more damage because there's going to be quite a few moments where I'm actually waiting to be able to bring in Kazumi, right? And because of that, it's actually slowing us down. We're not being able to do as much damage as we should. So if I was actually using 2 of these cards that decrease tag cooldown by almost 2 seconds, if there's 2 of these cards on her, that would be OP to decrease that tag cooldown. But the 2 seconds right here is enough. This will actually decrease tag cooldown of Kazumi, which is nice. That really helps our rotation. So there's a few things that I'm going to talk about that you shouldn't do and you should do as you're playing with this team, especially, whenever you're using characters with Dot. You guys have already seen, the build for Isla. It's the same old guys. I haven't changed anything about her build since the last video. It's exactly the same as it was. We don't really need to get into it, but let me bring this over here, guys, and let's bring up the run and we'll talk about it. All right, so as always, guys, with these runs, you really want to start off with your 3PG. We're going to use Isla down with Isla. Since she only has poison on that first skill, it really doesn't matter. You just run through your skills, try to build your 3PG as fast as possible, do your 3PG, and then after your 3PG, all right, then you want to bring in Kazumi, okay? Use your 2-1, and then you're going to use your chill. Now, this is going to be the only time that I will use chill at this moment. You guys will see what I'm talking about later on because we don't want to break that meter too fast. So here we actually use the chill. I want you to pay attention to the meter, okay? We're going to use Maki, okay? The meter is about halfway broken already, right? So, okay, and I always go just 1, 2, 3. Now again, if you're having trouble building power, go 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 with Maki. So we're going to do it again. We're going to use the ethereal energy, the default, and then we're going to switch to Kazumi. Now you see right there, guys, I had to wait a little bit for Kazumi. I had to wait a little bit, and believe me, that really hurts your damage. But even though that happened, I still am able to do, look at that, guys, 10 trillion, man, in one rotation. Okay, now here's where it gets really good. So now we're back to using Isla, and we're going to switch in Kazumi. Now I only use Kazumi's second skill. That's it. Second, third is fine. Don't use her first skill. Don't use that chill right now. Wait till after her 3PG. So after you use Isla, then bring back in Kazumi. All right, do the second skill, do the 3PG. You don't even have to do the second skill if you don't want to. Do the 3PG afterwards. Switch to Maki. 1, 2, 3, do the 3PG. 1, 2, 3, right here. Do the default. Now look at Kazumi, look at Kazumi. 1 second, see? So if I would have put another tag cooldown card on Kazumi, we could actually get more damage, guys. We could actually do even better than what I'm showing you. This little bit makes a big difference over a 2-minute run. This really adds up, guys. You got to figure that's a second and a half that I'm losing every time I do this, right? So every rotation, when I'm losing a second and a half, by the end of this, I could have gained another, 10 seconds. And that is more than enough to get another 10, 15 trillion. You just saw her do 10 trillion in one rotation, right? So, I mean, so the number that you're going to see at the end of this run, just remember that she could do 10 to 20 trillion, 10, 15, but I bet maybe even 20 trillion more with a really good run, right? And that's just how insane it is to use this method. And the difference between this method and the last method, if you guys don't realize yet, is that I am using my 3PGs, because normally, a lot of times in these guild raid runs, what we'll do is we'll start off with our damage dealer, we'll do our 3PG, then we'll use our next character, do a 3PG for them, then after that 3PG, we'll run through their skills, get their support buff, switch to the next character, get their support buff, and then we'll switch to the damage dealer, in this case Isla, and do a bunch of damage. But now what we're doing is we're actually doing the damage dealer, then we're doing Kazumi, then we're doing Maki, then we're going back to Kazumi. And because of this, it gives us a whole lot more time for Kazumi's EX core to be off cooldown. So when you're doing this, you notice, guys, you saw that EX core ready. It will be ready if you're using your 3PGs as often as I am here in this video. You'll be able to use that EX core, that 50% extra critical damage, over and over for every single rotation. That is why this method works so well. You get all the time stops, so that way you can bring your characters a whole lot more often throughout the fight to do more damage over time, right? And it just you guys can see the difference. I mean, the numbers they speak for themselves. This is insane. Look at that. 80 trillion already. We had 41 seconds left. 41 seconds, guys. 80 trillion. Now, I know guild raid isn't a big deal, but for a lot of us out there, we like to have fun, man. We got to have fun. We like to see these big numbers. It makes us feel good that our boy or our girl gets it done, and it just makes us happy, man, honestly. And that's why we like to do these high guild raid runs, right? Just for fun, just to talk, just to showboat, and have a good old time. You don't need to do it. It's not really a big deal, but it's fun. It is fun to do it, right? And ever since I got my PC client going again, these runs are way more fun for me because I don't have a bunch of lag to deal with. I can do better, I can get better scores. It's a lot easier to run through my rotations because I don't have any lag to deal with. It just makes it a lot more fun. But I gotta say, guys, watching this run, even though she's putting up insanity for numbers, I know I can do better because I keep waiting for Kazumi every single rotation before I bring in Isla. Watch what happens right here, guys. Look at this, guys, 120 trillion, man. 120 trillion. Who says Isla's weak? Come on now, she's insane. Okay, so we'll bring in Kazumi. We're going to wait for the iframe. We hit the second skill, and we do the 3PG. Now, I could have just went ahead and said, screw it, and just run into it. Usually, I like to wait for the iframe to finish, so that way we can land a hit. But honestly, if you got your 3PG ready, you can just go ahead and do it. It's just that Geese will do the Raging Storm while you're in the 3PG, right? But the good thing about it is when he does do an iframe, it does give my cooldowns more time to be able to tag in my characters on time. But, I mean, yeah, look at this, guys. Look at this, right? This is bonk old, right? You saw me hit the EX core there, right? And again, guys, if I'd had another tag cooldown card on Kazumi, I easily would have been able to get more damage. I would do more. We got 131 trillion. Is that what we got going on here? Look, 132 trillion. Right, I know that I could do probably 10 trillion more if I would have put another tag cooldown card on Kazumi. And that it's just the difference that it makes, guys. Like, you really can't judge a book by its cover in these runs because honestly, it really just depends on the team. It depends on your gameplay. It depends on your plugins. It depends on your fame system. It depends on your codex. All these things make a huge difference in the amount of damage that you do. When you level up your codex, you have more attack, right? When you level up your fame, you have more attack, more penetration, okay? All these things make a huge, huge difference. And then obviously your gameplay, again, makes a massive difference in the amount of damage that you're going to do, right? And obviously the device that you play on also makes a big, big difference. On LD player, it's a real nightmare for me to do this. On a phone, unless it's a really good phone like an S23 Ultra, it's still a real pain in the butt, right? But, you know, on the client, it's very, very easy. And if you got a really potent phone, it's not going to be too bad. And you'll be able to get a much better score than what people can with a bad device. But let me know what you guys think about good old Isla. And by the way, guys, I do apologize that I made another Isla video, but I really just wanted to show you guys how insane this girl is because her banner is going to be over very, very soon, guys. Got like 1 day left, or actually 2 days left, but we really don't know what character is going to be coming in the next update. Could be a collab, could be KOF characters. I'm not really sure at this point, so it remains to be seen. So if you guys are holding out, maybe it's best too, but if you do need a yellow, honestly, Isla really is an insane character. So guys, let me know how y'all doing in the game. And I do stream on Twitch and YouTube. The link to Twitch in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody. Take care.